She's, I like your red, red. I like.
Good. Good morning. My name is Chris Caius. I'm chairing the Kane County Administration Committee for this Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, 10:40 a.m. Can we have a roll call, please?
Berman,
Berman is here.
Garcia,
Garcia here.
Gums,
What a fantastic voice that is.
Gums is here if you can hear me.
Sounds a
Yep.
little reedy.
Young,
Is it good now? Okay. I'm sorry. We're getting a little feedback there. Let's start again with that.
oh, Berman,
Berman is here.
Garcia,
Garcia here.
Gums, Young,
Gums.
Arroyo,
Here.
Juby here, Caius.
Okay, Kai is present. All right, then I would ask for unanimous consent for the attendance of Mr. David Young and Ms. Gums.
No objections.
Objection?
No objections.
You really don't have to say anything unless you do have an objection.
Oh, I'm
just-
sorry.
Just curious.
Different board.
Oh, okay. Great, thank you. All right. Then roll call, remote attendance is covered. May I have a motion and second to approve the minutes or unanimous consent, approve the minutes from November 13th, 2024. Moved by
Juby asks for unanimous consent to please the,
GBS for unanimous consent from the minutes, approval of the minutes from November 13th, 2024. Is there any objection? That may be just been my committee, Alex, sorry. Minutes are approved. Is there any public comment? Do we have anybody in person, online, in writing? Nothing? Rachel says no, good. Moving on. Financial report, Kathy, and there's a little handout as well. Is that, are you gonna?
Yeah, it's just a presentation should have it. The
Okay.
detail report for this administration committee is in your packet. It covers buildings management, IT. I just put together 2 highlight slides as we're closing out 2024. We haven't yet closed the books. We've got another couple of weeks yet. Invoices are still coming in. But just on buildings management, and again, these are some very high level comments. Rental income, if you look at the detail packet, is typically budgeted at higher than actual over the last few years. Salaries actually came in below budget for buildings management, slightly below budget. Contractual services are over budget, specifically in building repairs and janitorial services. Commodities are slightly below budget in water utilities and electric. And they're over budget in cleaning supplies. And I know, and Roger could probably talk more about this, there was a big changeover this year in buildings management with outside cleaning and internal staffing, which would probably account for some of this. The capital fund, buildings management has activities in the general fund and in the capital fund. In the capital fund, actual building improvements were lower than the original adopted budget, 6.4 to 10.75. And I also just wanted to point out the capital fund primarily has activity and expenditures from the buildings management department, but it isn't the only department that has expenses in that fund. In 2024, the county paid $6.5 million for the new election equipment out of the capital fund. Next slide. And some IT highlights. Computer service fee revenue was over the adopted budget. It's a small amount, but good news there. Salaries came in right under budget, right at budget. Actual contractual services. And again, we haven't officially closed the books. There probably are a few more invoices that might be out there. Actual contractual services are at 47.8% of adopted budget. Specifically, they were lower in the computer repairs and maintenance and consulting services categories. And in the capital area, actual computer purchases were 833,000 versus the adopted budget of a little over 2 million. And this is just all for 2024. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Kathleen?
Yeah, I'll email it out.
Of the presentation? Yeah, okay. Oh, you got one. If anybody, actually somebody, Mr. Roth? Okay, so current needs taken in and everybody will get a copy additionally on email. All right. Executive Director's Report, Mr. Roger Fonstock.
Yes, good morning, Roger Fonstock, IT and Building Management. First, welcome to new board members. I think this is your first meeting for the IT and Building Management. If you'd like to discuss kind of our business or meet with me, I know I've met with John already, but I'd be happy to have some people sit down and meet with you to go through kind of the business of what we work on. So today we have a couple of things for presentation. One is the capital projects, and Heidi Files, who's sitting over there, is a project manager. She's going to walk through highlights in some of our capital projects, what you have spent your county's money on for capital. And I think you'll find those interesting. And we also have a presentation regarding compliance and our ADA site for web content for the county's website. Adam Tedder comes here. Adam here.
Okay. Great.
Adam is back here. Great. So we have everybody for the presentations. Before we get started with the capital projects, we do have Chief Judge Villa here, and I think he wanted to say a few words about a part of the agenda. And I wanted to give him a chance if he wanted to do that now, or
Actually, I
Uh,
should have said that. I saw you back there.
if he wanted to wait till the
absolutely, no.
resolution.
If, okay, well, when the resolution is coming back in,
It's, the resolution is later in the packet. I didn't know if he had the time, so.
you got the time? You want to sit?
Okay.
This is a fascinating committee.
Okay, so,
Especially since we're doing a lot of work out in your area there.
yes.
Good
So-
stuff, a lot of good stuff. So go ahead.
So yeah, I will tell you that there is a resolution in the packet for some capital improvements to the Third Street Courthouse today. But I wanted to emphasize that during the last 2 years, one of the things that we focused on is the Judicial Center campus. For those of you that are not familiar, it's the criminal courts. We have the sheriff's office and the adult corrections. The juvenile center is out there. There's also the multi-use building, which is a lot of the machinery and trucks and cars and garage. And then there's also the coroner's office on that campus. That campus really is the largest operating facility that the county owns. And it also has the most public and people converging on it on a daily basis. We have thousands of people that are there visiting every day. We have, most of the county staff, a lot of the county staff are there. We have people that are there in custodial care 24 hours a day, day and night, children that are in our care at that facility. So it's a very important facility to us. And I think what you're going to see is that in the last 2 years, through the capital fund and the ARPA funds and the things that we have available to us, the tools, money, the people, we've been trying to focus and apply that to those buildings. And you're going to see that in some of these projects. A lot of that work is through the support of the board and the direction of the board to invest in these properties to bring them up to current standards. So with that, I'm going to let Heidi Files take over the presentation. I have the slide advance, but I'll let Heidi introduce herself and start.
Thank you. Yes, Heidi Files here. Thank you for having me. I think what you're going to see, this is a highlight of the projects that we are currently working on and implementing in 2025. It's taken 18 months of planning and engineering and identifying what the priorities are for our capital improvement program. We'll start with the judicial campus. We have a major improvement that's funded with ARPA funds. That is the 2 new air-cooled York chillers for the facility. We are demolishing the existing chiller plant that's inside the building, and we just had delivery of these over 40-foot long 2 new air-cooled chillers for our new chiller plant that's outside of the building. We're also starting to demo the large cooling tower, which is behind the facility. That starts next week. We are in a tight time frame, trying to get this done by the end of March so that when the warm weather warms up, then we'll have the chillers in place. We're doing commissioning with that. We have a lot of contractors on site every day for this. There's a lot of activity on campus right now. New to building management, I believe, I've only been here for a couple of years, but we now have a 5-year pavement management program. That was a lot of engineering and geotech work and pavement conditioning studies. This last year, we did 4 of our parking lots. This next year, we're finalizing construction documents. White and Company is our civil engineering firm for this project. We're finalizing the construction documents. So we're going to be everything in orange there. We're going to be mill and resurfacing. It's going to get a new pavement for most of the judicial center. We're also working on a concept plan right now for additional parking to accommodate the sheriff's office, a secure impound lot, which we don't have right now, which is a concern. And Chief Kadich from the sheriff's office is here if there are any questions about that. There's a resolution further along in the agenda to continue our pavement management program, very critical. It continues the engineering, the construction management. There's also survey work in there. There's geotech work. So we hope to continue with this and bring all our facilities up to speed and have a regular maintenance program moving forward. We have a project We're looking at water quality improvements actually throughout the judicial campus. This says the judicial center. We have some water quality issues in all of the buildings. So one of the projects is looking at the judicial center water quality improvements. We're also doing that in the other buildings on campus. Fire system upgrades, we talked about this. We have 4 judicial buildings that we've been working on. We just finished the Juvenile Justice Center. It's a complete system. The old systems are obsolete. This also connects all the judicial facilities. And we have the ability for mass communications, which is important for various reasons and for OEM planning and for coordination. So the next building we're working on is the Judicial Center. We're modernizing the remaining 4 elevators in the Judicial Center. We modernized 2 of them recently. We just completed the judge's elevator. Not very exciting because it doesn't look different, but we're talking microprocessors, controllers, hydraulics, new oil, all sorts of stuff. They're going to be done systematically. We have 3 more elevators to get through. We're also bringing them up to code. The holding cell elevators aren't up to code. We're adding call buttons where there weren't call buttons, for instance. Very important stuff, but not very pretty. So the Judicial Center lighting project, we talked about this last year. There were some pretty dire security concerns with not having the lights working on campus. This is a massive project. If you could see the bases we're pulling up now, they are 6 to 8 feet deep. They're 3 feet wide. There are a lot of utilities. We ran all new underground utilities throughout the campus. The top right, you can see we have new entryway lighting for the Judicial Center. We're also lacking security lights, wall packs around the sheriff's office that we're implementing. That's our next big part of the project, but all the parking lot and the landscaping lighting is done. We just completed the new roof on the Juvenile Justice Center. No more leaks. We're in the process of replacing all of the HVAC. This is capital and ARPA funded. We're about 80% done with the HVAC. This is going to be a nice improvement for that building. You can see this crane was here last week lifting units onto the Juvenile Justice Center. Newly renovated Public Defender's Office renovation. Mark Smith was the project manager for this project, and I went to see it when it was done, and all we heard were rave reviews about how the space is now providing the adequate privacy for the public defenders, and it's a really nice space. Moving along to the Adult Justice Center, this building has been lacking maintenance and has dire capital improvements needed. We just had a commissioning meeting, about 17 different individuals, contractors, departments. This is a huge project to replace the domestic hot water system in the jail towers. Very important. There are some serious water concerns. This will be an incredible improvement over the next 9 months. That's ARPA funded. We have a big kickoff meeting tomorrow for our $12 million project that's going to be looking at insulation sealants in the pipe chase, which is basically the envelope around the jail pods, and then all new HVAC throughout the entire building. This is a 24-hour building. It's been run hard, and the HVAC needs to be replaced. So it's a big project that's ARPA funded. We also have HVAC replacement in the shooting range that's also ARPA funded, and jail and kitchen and laundry. We are meeting regarding the kitchen plan for replacing the equipment in the jail kitchen. A lot of the equipment does not work. A lot of the electrical has issues. The plumbing doesn't work. The trenching, we found out there's a dishwasher that's just missing. We don't know where it is. So there's a lot of issues here. This is going to be an incredible improvement. This is ARPA and capital funds. So we are doing plan review right now for this project and looking at equipment ordering for the HVAC. Elgin Health Building. This is the new building that was purchased by the county board to accommodate satellite offices for health and county clerk and court services and potentially coroner's office. The project manager is working on concept planning for the space utilization. And then we're also looking at engineering. Right now, we're doing engineering with an ARPA funded total replacement of HVAC. The HVAC is at its end of life. And then the roof is leaking. So we're doing engineering right now for the new roof system. So all of that should be complete within the next 6 months, probably. This is a big improvement. It's pretty amazing what our contractor has done to match the new with the historic. If you haven't seen this, this is the new jury lounge. They're about to finish the technology installation and the furniture placement. The old jury lounge, part of it, you had to go down a windy staircase to a very decrepit basement. So this is a really nice improvement for some of our most important people that come to provide services in the court system. There's also a new entryway on the right-hand side. You can see this is an issue right now. It's not very accommodating for ADA. We're having the new entryway installed this weekend. It's going to be a nice improvement. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be double doored. It's going to be a nice improvement. They're also doing a new guard station security entrance on the inside when you get in. That project is in planning stage. Here's some additional projects that we will be implementing this year, or at least starting to implement, that are currently in the planning phase. New roof replacement for Building B, boiler house at the Third Street Courthouse, new roof replacement, a child advocacy center tuck pointing to stop the leaks, mail room, the Building F here on campus, new windows. The assessor's office is getting a new counter and a roll-up window, and that'll be ADA accessible, compliant also. There's a new judge's bench. It says judge's desk on the capital list. That's my mistake. It's a bench. There are 2 courtrooms right now. The benches do not accommodate the technology changes that have occurred in the past 50 years. And it's hard for the judge to see through his courtroom. So, or he or she, pardon me, to see their courtroom. So we're gonna address one of them this year. We have new IT spaces to accommodate the Judicial Technology Modernization Project, which is ongoing. We have Train coming in to add some HVAC. The current IT space is running warm, and there are 2 new IT spaces. So we'll be addressing that this year. And then we also have an ARPA-funded Court Services Aurora HVAC replacement project. In addition, we've been working on improving our communication with the public, because we now have an incredible capital project list, and we wanted to make that information much more accessible. This is under development right now, but it's almost ready to launch. It's a website that you'll be able to click around, and you can get to the individual project. You can learn about the funding source. You can learn about the timing. And then they have the individual project managers' contact information if anybody has any questions. All right.
So
Okay, sorry, what did you say? Have any questions?
If anybody has any questions when they're looking through the capital projects, we have a contact information for the individual project manager.
Okay, good. Missed the applause at the end. All that's great.
Yeah.
It's a really long list.
Heidi, if you could click through that bottom link in the lower right, it is active. I don't know if Cash,
I think I can do it.
bottom right or bottom left where it says view all projects.
Projects, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. And then
Actually, if you click on anywhere, it'll bring
Yeah.
you to
Allow.
allow. Yeah, and then it'll pull up the website, probably in different, and then you can go to view all projects.
and if you click on one of the projects, it'll show you kind of any project, just click on one.
Okay, I just have a couple questions to catch me up to speed here since I'm behind the eight
moment.
ball. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, it tells you the status, the starting year, the status. If you click on any project, it gives you, pardon me, the email address of the project manager, the budget estimate, a photo, and a very brief description, just to get your mind thinking.
Strictly for my knowledge, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm sure. I got you. That's the problem when you sit way over there. Sorry, Alex. I saw him first. So, John,
Thanks.
I'm
Mr.
going to give the
Chairman.
floor to you. If you have a question for Heidi, any
Yes,
questions for Heidi?
Yes, just a real quick one, but first, this amazing, just very, very amazing. How do you get to this site, which is active now, I believe I heard? Where do you go on the Kane County website to find this?
So from the county's main site, if you click on government, you'll see a list of the different departments and offices.
Mhm.
And in there, you'll see building management. So click on government, Cash, up there. Russ, it's not going through. Uh-oh. Got a delay. But it's under the building management department in there if you're able to get to it. I don't know. Yeah, so under building management in the middle column. And one of the things that we're contemplating and working on is with finance doing a capital improvement plan that's following more closely to the GFOA or the government financial accounting officers. And eventually the idea would be not just buildings, but IT and other capital would funnel into a capital improvement plan, which we have drafted a 5-year plan that we're going to be working on this year more. I will tell you that a lot of the disruption that we had in the last year was access to the ARPA funding. And it's it's like a expedited path to try and put that money to work. So it really pulled IT and buildings maybe away from what we customarily would be planning for, to say, hey, the county can do these things with ARPA, and let's try to get them into position. So even in the budget slides that finance was sharing, there's a lot of things that, like in capital, that maybe went unspent because our team was working to get these planned and trying to get the money allocated before the end of the year. But the other idea would be that this site would eventually be like a capital improvement planning site or a Kane County planning site, and we could incorporate other plans that are related to the county and not so much specific to buildings. So anybody that wanted a reference point for plans that are going on, they could go there. We could even refer to KDOT plans or development plans, and give people kind of a landing zone for all of the different plans. We hear that a lot. Where do I get access to the plan for this? And people have to go scour the website. One of the things you're going to hear from Adam, I believe Adam Tedder is going to talk about compliance and ADA. It is that over the years, we have amassed thousands of PDF files. And the new ADA requirements is going to require that we handle that differently. So now, right now, when you're searching through our website, you can be swimming through PDF files. There's tons of matches for a keyword search. And I think that, having a site like this would give people a place to focus on. If they want a plan, they can go get it from there. They don't have to use the search tools. So I could see this being more front and center, closer to the front page, and being a little bit broader in the future as people want to put more stuff on there.
Okay. Answer your question, John? Okay, good. And then Alex,
Okay,
did you
sorry,
have a
no,
comment,
just-
question?
Just to catch you up to speed here, because I'm very new to here.
Sure.
Our HVAC, is it consistent throughout the whole county? Do we use the same type of machinery? Like, I heard you mention train. Do we train for everything to be consistent, or?
So a lot of it, we're working with Train. Some of the systems are very large and specified by an architect engineering plan. And it really, a lot of it depends on the situation. We have some different systems in different buildings where they're just more suitable to other equipment. But we are typically trying to move with our rooftop units and package systems with Train.
And then our HVAC repair, do we do it in-house or outsourced to the
A
repairs?
little bit of both. We have
Both.
a couple building engineers and maintenance technicians, but we are, I would say, heavily dependent still on having contractors that can do the major mechanical. Some of the major mechanical systems we have are 400-ton chiller units, and they require skilled experts to work on. So we don't staff those internally.
And then my last question, just for my
Oh.
knowledge, do we take part in Train's training?
Yes.
We do, we take part in that, great.
So we're actively, it's for those of you that aren't familiar with it, the building management department is actively involved with a collective bargaining unit for stationary engineers. And that's going to be probably the path forward, is that it would go through the collective bargaining in the local union. They'll be getting trade from the union hall and things
Very
like that. So that's going to be coming. We've already been meeting with the attorneys about the agreement, and I think I'll leave it at that. We're getting closer.
Thank you, Mr. Feinstock. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Okay, that answer, Alex? Any other questions for Heidi or Roger on this particular topic? Okay, we'll move on then to ready for county ADA website compliance regarding upcoming law changes. Are we ready for that? Okay, and that'd be Adam.
Yeah, we have Adam Tedder from our applications and data team. And I think, is Davis here too? Oh, we can get Davis. Okay.
This is the first time for you, Adam, so make sure you get the mic up by your mouth and get right on it so we can hear you. We want to hear what you have to say.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam Tedder. I work with the Information Technologies Applications Today, we wanted to notify everyone and introduce that there is going to be a law change specifically regarding AA compliance for all King County websites and mobile apps. We were first notified about this in April of last year from the state's attorney's office. Since then, we've been working with them to have a better understanding about compliance. We have fortunately always been aware of ADA, and we are in pretty good shape for most of our templates. But of course, these new rules, which we're about to go over, we need to make sure that we are compliant. The background and overview of this is in April of 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice issued a final rule under Title II of Americans with Disabilities Act, requiring state and local government websites and mobile applications to comply with web content accessibility guidelines, shortened as WCAG 2.1 level AA. The rule aims to ensure that digital content is accessible to individuals with disabilities, enhancing equitable access to public services. Compliance details are set for April 2024, 2026 for entities serving populations of 50,000 or more, which would be us. The rule includes exceptions for certain types of content, such as archive materials and pre-existing documents. There is a website here that you can follow if you'd like to know more specifics. Our timeline right now is that we would like to be compliant about 4 months prior to the deadline, which will be April of 2026. Some examples of our current website compliance are we're currently scanning King County websites with one paid service. That service is called SilkTide. And there are a few free services. We're just trying to get a baseline because we don't want just one source of our scores to be the only score that we're going off of. Our overall scores so far have been good to excellent, but our documents, as Roger mentioned earlier, is a place we need significant improvement. Just a short history of that is due to us always hoping to be transparent, we've been keeping onto documents for several years. I think in this case, we will need to have a plan to archive some of these documents. That way they're still available, but it keeps the website a little more easy to navigate. According to our latest SilkTide analytics scan for the King County website specifically, although we're scanning more than just the King County website, we're scanning health department, other websites as well. Our accessibility score is problematic. We need to this is just an example to highlight the monumental task of correcting some of these things. 7,500 PDFs need to be checked. About 4,300 of those need to be tagged. There's quite a few changes that are coming up with the AA compliance, so we need to make sure we can pass those. Our recommendations at this point is that we scan all websites that King County government controls and are responsible with at least 2 different services to get an accurate measurement of how compliant the websites currently are. We would like to get a second service, which we're looking at several candidates for. We're basing this number, the 6,000, based on the service we had before and the service we have currently. King County government staff, we hope to all review with the different offices and departments their content on their pages so that everybody has an accurate look of how their website is, what PDFs are there, what links are currently there. And we archive older materials if necessary and if the office or department agrees with that. We carefully consider where the most content will be funneling in from the websites. So this is like a behavioral issue that hopefully everybody from IT and anybody else that uploads content to their websites, we know what a compliant PDF is, a compliant web page is, and we adopt a posting policy and procedures so that we remain compliant after April of 2026. Earlier in the presentation, it was mentioned that pre-existing documents will most likely be exempt, like a grandfathering of those documents, but we don't want to rest on that. We would like to make sure that posting after that date, everything is compliant. And we are considering moving all forms that are currently fillable forms and turning those into Laserfish forms. That way, they're not just PDFs to fill out, but a web page, which will make screen readers, it'll be easier for people to read that and fill those out. This is just a slide that State's Attorney offered us. There are penalties after April 2026 that if we have a violation, non-compliance with WCAG 2.1 is considered a violation of Title II of the ADA, which requires government entities to provide equal access. A government's non-compliance would result in lawsuits filed by the DOJ or private persons against the government entity, with possible penalties being a fine up to $75,000 for the initial ADA violation and $150,000 for subsequent violations. At this time, I can open it up to any questions.
Okay, do you have any questions for Adam? Okay, I think it's pretty, another mandate for us, I guess, huh? Another unfunded mandate.
We hope to continue to update the board when we get significant updates so that we can keep everybody in the know of where we're at with our progress, but
Well, it's very exciting for
thank you.
accessibility and transparency. Thanks, Adam.
Okay, thank you.
And then, so did you have squirming there?
This
Do you
is
have a comment?
Yeah, this is Charles Lask with the IT department. I did want to clarify also with this, while the IT department is doing everything we can to build that compliant structure, most of the PDFs and data that are
Good job.
most of the PDFs and data that's being uploaded is happening within various offices and departments. So this is going to be a big joint effort to work with all those to get this done. So it's going to take a lot of support from everybody on this. So I just want you to be aware, it's not something we can handle on our own. So we may be asking for additional support as we get into this further.
From each of the departments or electeds? to do
Correct.
that?
Yep.
Because it includes electeds as well?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions on that further comment from Charles? Nothing? Then on to the back page here, building management. Continue, Mr. Fonstock.
Yes.
We start with resolutions. Are you ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing updated capital projects from the capital fund. Moved by Berman, second by
I'll second it.
Mr. Roy.
Alex Arroyo. Okay. You
Ready?
comment on that?
So this is Roger Fonstock with IT and Buildings. You have a resolution that is before you. I wanted to explain that what we've been doing with projects is trying to provide basically an authorization for the capital funds as a matter of transparency, so that you know when a project's initiated, when it's in planning, when we're executing, and then how it relates to the various funds that we use. So on the second page of the resolution, you'll see a list of the capital projects, and they're on the far right side, you'll see the project stage, and then you'll see if it's in the capital fund or if it's in ARPA funds. And we broke that down so that you could kind of differentiate. And then it draws down to the bottom and shows you the total amount of funding that's involved with this. I will tell you that, you know, the county operates on an annual or a fiscal year budget. Many of these things are going to probably be beyond a fiscal year. But we're trying to capture the cost of them. And then at the end of the year, you'll see projects that were in maybe this year that will carry over into next year, but they'll have a little bit less budget. We did 50% of the project and 50% might roll over into 2026. But these are the full cost of the projects or the remainder of the projects in fiscal year 2025. So in ARPA, we have 20,033,000, and in capital, we have 11,700,000 and some change. So we just wanted to make sure that you understand that we're presenting this as it's modified during the year as well. So you'll see this again, anytime something gets initiated by an office or department and it's over $30,000 for the capital fund, we would bring it back to initiate it in this list. And you won't see just one item. You'll see the whole list again with any new items that are added to it. So you can tell where your funding is, at what stage, what it's being applied to, and if there's anything new added to this list. And then again, the project stage tells you kind of the status of it. The final stage for us is really closing, when we close and get documentation. So these are all active projects. You'll see that they're either initiating, which means we're looking for the board to accept the idea of planning for this. We're going to commit money for architects, for engineers, for, the documentation to go out to bid or quotations. Then you'll get into the actual planning, which is the actual part where you finalize all the engineering plans and take it out to bid. And then we go into execution, doing the work, monitor, control, kind of standard project planning procedures where you do change orders, change management, and then close it, get all the documentation, all the warranties, transfer training to staff, and support the product or support the installation in a maintenance mode. So that's what this list represents for the new members. I think it's important to kind of have a grasp of why you're seeing this. And we do this periodically throughout the year. So just for transparency.
Sure. And this is one page, but it really represents a whole bunch of work and a whole bunch of things, not just now, as you explained, that we're closing out or constructing right now, but into the future. So if you have questions, I encourage everyone on the committee to examine this. If you have questions, ask Roger or staff. Charles is involved in that.
Yes.
To get information. If you have questions about whether it should be done, how much should be done, or where it's coming from. And there's a lot of background information on each one of these projects. So this is our task, this is where the rubber meets the road right here, right off the bat. So any questions about that? Or are you still?
We're good.
Okay. No questions right now? Okay, then roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia, yes.
Gums, yes.
Arroyo.
Yes.
Juby,
Aye.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Okay, item B, is a resolution. I would ask for yeah, sure.
Gums will move.
A motion and a second to present and potentially approve the authorization of a contract extension with F.E. Moran Incorporated for Kane County Building Automation Systems, BAS, and a repair services, bid number 52-021. And it's moved by Gums, second by Juby. Roger.
This is Roger Fonstock again with Building Management. The extension that you have in front of you is something that came from a 2021 bid with F.E. Moran. This is for the building automation systems related to heating and air conditioning. This company provides all the maintenance, repair, service, and support for what we use to control the climate and the HVAC systems. This would be a 1-year renewal expiring in 2026, and it's not to exceed $200,000 per fiscal year. It is a budgeted expense, and we're recommending approval.
Okay, any questions for Roger on this one? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
yes.
Arroyo,
Yes.
Juby,
Aye.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing additional expenditures of funds from fiscal year 2025 budget for annual roof inspection, repair and replacement services with Weather Guard Roofing Company, bid number 23-054, moved by
Berman,
second by. Don't be
Gums.
shy. Gums. Roger?
Okay, so this is additional funding that we're looking to apply from the capital fund and operating budget. The operating portion of it is the maintenance and repair part, the $214,350 that was already authorized under the bid. The replacement part is for the replacement of the roof. We have, let's see, The boiler house at Third Street Courthouse, which is the building behind the Third Street Courthouse, is getting a new roof. The Health Department building at 2170 Point Boulevard would be getting a new roof. And then Building B at the Government Center just behind here is a part of our scheduled roof replacements for this year. The total from WeatherGuard, which was the awarded vendor, is $1,096,093.75. And this is budgeted in the capital funds for replacement this year. We also have the budget listed for the operating expense for repairs. We're recommending approval.
Okay, any questions on this? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia. Garcia, yes. Gums,
Gums, yes.
Arroyo. Juby. Juby, I. Yes.
Yes. Item D, may I have a motion and a second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing an agreement with White and Company for the Third Street Courthouse Window Replacement Project, RFQ number 42-020, moved by
Berman,
Berman, second by
Juby,
Juby. Roger?
Okay, this is Roger again with Building Management. So this is what we have the presence of the Chief Judge Villa, and we have the court administrators. We have Andrea O'Brien, Jason Mathis. This is an agreement to do a plan for the Third Street Courthouse, or the county courthouse. And it's to look at the windows. So we have a lot of windows in the building that I think were originally installed in the 70s, maybe in the 80s. They have serious challenges with single pane glass, problems with the frames, problems with the glass, problems with insulation, caulking. So we had been looking at what you could do to repair, because it's a lot of glass in the building. And what we've determined is that looking at removing the windows, repairing them, putting them back would probably be a disservice to the county, as opposed to looking at replacing the windows with modern thermal insulated types of windows. We've done some initial work with the architect to determine that we need a significant plan. We need a real plan that gives us specifications, works through the Historical Society, the Third Street community, making sure that we're working with the Chief Judge's office, the attorneys, everybody in the building. And it's much more than us just popping some new windows into a building or putting, caulk and seal around the windows. It's going to be a substantial project. So this would be the first part of that, which is to get the plan together with an architect and engineering firm. We selected White and Company with the judge's office to do this planning. White and Company is architect engineering construction management firm that the county selected through a qualifications-based selection. We have a satisfactory relationship with them, and we're looking for a proposed price of $54,500. The interesting part that I think is attractive to building management, but we have the chief judge and their office here, is that they're looking to use their facility construction fees to help fund the study, at least the study part of it. The investment, the capital of the building might be another discussion, but they want to contribute and participate in learning about the windows, figuring out what we should be doing with the windows. And we do have Chief Judge here today. If he would like to say a few words about this, you're welcome to.
Here, come on up, Judge Villa.
But we recommend approval.
All right. Oh, geez, I forgot I talked this really loud. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Thank you for a few minutes here. I really like to come to these meetings and presentations really to talk about the people who are involved in the project first. So on behalf of Andrew O'Brien and Jason Mathis, who are here, who are our trial court administrator and deputy court administrator, and myself, we'd like to thank everybody who has really worked on just the idea of this project. I'll give you a little history. Became chief judge in December of last year. I've been through the first year as a chief judge. For the first 3 months, you don't even know what you don't know yet, quite frankly. And my style of leadership, I figured out after some thought, is more of a service leadership style. I've always thought that the guy who has to tell you he's the boss in the room is really not the boss in the room. Somebody else is, and they're hard to work with. So I like to work with people, starting with Andrea and Jason, who are very good at what they do, and enable them to be better at what they're doing by either supporting them with now my office, with funding or whatever it is. And this window project is a perfect example of that. I have a soft spot for Third Street. I think it's one of the most important things in the county as far as a building that we have. I practiced there for a long time. We had a wonderful event a few months ago with the Geneva Historical Society. And all members of the public who came were fascinated by the building and told us all a few things that we had no idea were even existing in the building and how important it was to them. So it has a real community connection. It's not going anywhere. No one's turning it into condos, and we need the space to perform what we do in the judicial system for the courthouses or the cases that are there. The windows in particular have always been known as a problem in that courthouse, and they get worse over time. I tell the story that when I was assigned to courtroom 340 a couple of years ago, my bailiff and I would have a contest every summer as to who would kill the most wasps in the courtroom. And I think in my courtroom, the last year I was there, I lost 27 to 25 throughout the summer. They appear during jury trials and everything else. So it is definitely in need of assistance. And so when I became chief, the idea is to renovate the courthouse and do those types of things. And my leadership style required people who could do that. And I have to commend Roger in particular, and Mark and Matt, who's not here. He works primarily taking care of the judicial center, and now Heidi, who's worked with us on a couple projects already, for not only their enthusiasm and support, but their professionalism at this. The three of us have absolutely no idea what we're doing when it comes to construction or hiring vendors or things along that line, and certainly not anything having to do with architectural plans or engineering plans. Each one of these projects that we've worked on together, I felt like I was a part of the team with a quieter voice, really just sort of approving what these individuals were bringing and how they really supported the ideas we have. Chief Kadich is here, and it's actually a working example of how this happens. I went to the sheriff's deputies that were in the rotunda at Third Street Courthouse and told them that when we buy new furniture, which we have, and we have new lighting, I'm insulted by their bake sale tables that they use as barriers in the Third Street Courthouse. They literally have just two folding tables there. It doesn't do them any respect. It doesn't do them any service. And it quite frankly looks awful. So we bring an idea to Commander Fletcher that maybe our building fund can help build something along those lines. Chief Kadich comes along with a great idea about how to do it. Commander Fletcher comes up with a design, and we work with people through building management who can help us get that done. We just had a walkthrough yesterday about the possibility of that. So these projects are not vanity projects. I'm not going to build a big statue of myself, just despite the fact I joke about that sometimes. These are essential projects that when I'm no longer chief, will hopefully serve the county for many, many years. So they need to be done correctly, and they need to be done professionally. This particular resolution, it was an ask from Roger whether we would be happy to contribute to this. It's not even an ask. Of course, we would do something like this to support this type of project. And I'm thankful to the county and everybody I mentioned here today for the commitment to improve that courthouse and the others for time to come, because I feel very strongly that in my lifetime, we're not going to be able to come in here and ask you for a $200 million addition to the judicial center like some other counties have been able to do. I think we need to work within the confines of the spaces that we have. And if we improve them, I think we'll be able to do that for the future. So if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, thank you all very much.
Okay, any questions for Chief Judge? If you need to come kill some more bugs, I've got some box elder bugs back here that are year round.
Year round?
Yeah, year round. I'm extracting them.
You need a window project.
And Juby.
I just want to thank you for your commitment to the crown jewel of Geneva. So thank you for that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair Gums.
Oh, Madam Gums? Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't miss your hand. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I don't have a question for our chief judge. I do have a comment though.
It's just a compliment?
No. I have a comment.
Oh, comment.
Not for our chief judge, but.
Oh, not for me.
No, it's not for you. It's just a comment.
Highly confused. I'll go sit back down.
It was a little confusing. Sorry.
Sorry. This is a prime example. This resolution is a prime example of something that you will likely hear me talk about for quite a long time now, considering our financial situation. I do not understand why we need a study to tell us we need new windows. And maybe I'm a little bit ignorant to that, but this is the kind of thing that we're going to have to address every single meeting and every single committee. And this is one of those things that I'll be looking into. I just wanted you all to have that heads up. And if we have projects that can be deferred, I would ask staff to do those as well. because we're in a situation where we need to have these conversations every single meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right. I'm taking that as a comment and it wasn't a question.
Nope, not a question, just a comment.
Okay, thank you. Absolutely. And that's where our committee falls, is the first in line.
Yep.
We're on the battlefront to examine these projects as they come across our desk and look for the most information we can get on the suitability and the feasibility of making sure that they happen or don't happen or whatever happens to them.
Right, and
Okay.
I just, just rather, I know it's kind of a blanket statement here, but to me, it's our duty to be addressing each of these expenditures. For me, it's people are more important than some of the other things. Not that they're not important, just that our staff and our people are more important. So we're going to have to tighten our belt. I'd rather it be on stuff like this.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. Then I have a motion and a second to start. No other comments? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia. Yes. Garcia, yes. Gums,
Gums, no.
Arroyo. Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Vice, yes.
Passes.
Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing an agreement with White and Company for the pavement management design for Kane County, which is RFQ number 42-020. Moved by
Juby.
Doobie, second by
Berman.
Berman. Mr. Fonstock.
Okay, so we have another resolution. This is for our pavement management, design and planning. We manage the surfaces and the lots for just under 1 million square feet of buildings, and we have a rotation of pavement resurfacing and maintenance that needs to occur on a scheduled basis. We have a good solid 5 years of pavement under consideration. Probably can extend that out to 10 years based on the life of the surfaces that we deal with. But this is really to help us with the architect planning, design engineering, and the services to prepare for the actual construction and underground work. It deals with everything from stormwater sewers to underground electric and utility to the surface material, substructures, everything that you need in order to support the lot for the pavement to be refinished. So it is a lot more to consider than simply pavement. A lot of this is stuff that as we get into it to try to do it properly, we're finding failed, sewer systems, failed electric. So we've brought in White and Company to help us with that planning. And I think this is a budgeted expense. It's $285,500, and this is for the entire pavement management planning that we're going to do. And Heidi Files has been working on this. She could probably speak to more of the specifics if you have questions. It's again a budgeted expense for the pavement management plan. It's a multi-year plan, and we're asking for and recommending approval.
Okay, any questions about this, Roger?
Heidi.
Or Heidi? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia. Garcia, yes. Gums,
Gums, yes.
Arroyo. Juby.
Juby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Okay. may I have
Mr. Chair, can Mr.
Yes.
Arroyo use his microphone?
Arroyo, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, make sure so they can hear, we want to hear you online, so, as well. Thank you. Okay, motion passes. Then that means we're up to item F. May I have a motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing a number of procurement cards issued to the Building Management Department and each of their transaction limits. Moved by
Juby.
Berman, second by
Juby.
Juby. Roger?
This is annual housekeeping required by the county ordinance for credit cards and P cards. We have 3, and the recommended amounts, I believe, have remained unchanged, and we're recommending approval.
Okay, any questions? It's pretty standard. You'll find this again and again in all your committees. All righty, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia. Sorry, Garcia, yes. Gums,
Gums, yes.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Doobie. Doobie, aye. Caius.
Caius, yes. All righty. Then moving on to information technology, may I have a motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing a 3-year enterprise agreement with ESRI for desktop and server platform for the Kane County GIS Technologies Department. Moved by
Berman,
Berman, second by
Juby,
Doobie.
This is Charles
Charles
Lasky
Lasky, yeah, sorry.
with the IT department. Yes, this is a 3-year renewal. This software has been in use in the GIS department for over 20 years. A few years ago, we did a bid and they were the only responder. Based on our ordinance, we're allowed to continue the use of the software since it had been competitively bid in the past. This is paid for out of the special revenue funds, not the general fund. It is budgeted and we would recommend approval.
So when you say that, it means it pays for itself. We charge money for them to get those things, so.
Correct.
Yes, fees.
Doesn't come out of the other. Okay, any questions for Charles? Please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia. Garcia, yes. Gums,
Gums, yes.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Doobie. Doobie, aye. Caius.
Caius, yes. Item B, may I have a motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing an extension for professional services for consulting and project management with Delphin.net Solutions for the Information Technologies Department, bid number 05-020. Moved by
Berman move.
Berman, second by Arroyo.
This is Charles Lasky with the IT department. So this resolution is authorizing the final extension of this contract that was bid out and approved under resolution 20-35. These services are used throughout the IT department, some in building management, and also out of our special funds, the 127 and 125 that support the courts and the judicial courts and the public safety sheriff systems. This is budgeted and we would recommend approval.
Okay. Any questions for Charles? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia. Garcia, yes. Gums,
Gums, yes.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Doobie. Doobie, aye. Caius.
Yes. Item C, may I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing number of procurement cards issued to the Information Technologies Department and each of their transaction limits. Moved by
Berman,
Berman, second by
Juby,
Juby.
This is Charles Lasky with IT department. This again is another one of those housekeeping items we do every year to provide you with a list of the P cards we have, their single purchase limit and their monthly credit limit. This has not changed. I don't believe these numbers have changed since last year, but we do have a change in terms of adding Kurt Lebo, who's new on our GIS department, who replaced Tom McCoskey.
Okay. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Garcia. Garcia, yes. Gums,
Gums, yes.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Doobie.
Juby, aye.
Caius.
Yes. Okay, then completes information technology. Thank you, Mr. Lasky. On to Mill Creek. Do we have anything from our closest territory, owned territory,
We have nothing for this month.
Okay. or SSA?
Yeah.
Nothing from Mill Creek, no vehicles, just for the new individuals on the board. It has been that, I think it's in the code, as a matter of fact, all purchase of vehicles go through this committee and start in this committee, whether it's the sheriff or any other departments. I believe as it was created as a sort of design to keep it track of one location where purchase of vehicles can be monitored. So we keep an idea how many cars we're buying. And then on to new business. I'll have Scott, do you want to come up and yourself and present?
Good morning, Scott Bezecki, Kane County Office of Emergency Management. Just here to start a quick conversation about continuity of operations planning for our Kane County departments. So in a exercise back in October, one of the things that we identified was a lot of the departments don't have these plans. We're still in the process of determining what, the inventory of what plans are out there. But a continuity of operations plan is essentially, what do you do if a department can't operate for some reason? The loss of a building or office space, could be from a fire, could be from a flood, could be from severe weather, whatever it was, or it could be the loss of people, key leadership, or key people that do key processes, things like payroll that are important to the county's operation. What would you do if those things, for one reason or another, if staff weren't available because they're sick, or, like extended illness or things like that? What would you do if key systems weren't available? Like one of our OEM systems about a year ago went out of business, and the system that we used was no longer available. Things like your records aren't available, a whole bunch of different things that could impact an operation. And we're recommending a planning process for all those departments. And so I've come up with a policy. I've discussed it briefly with Madam Chair, and we'll plan to bring it to a department head meeting soon to go over it. But just wanted to start a conversation if this is something that the committee and ultimately the board would entertain as a county policy. So in doing this, obviously I can't plan for what the different departments need because they know their businesses better than I do. But to make this as simple as possible, we've come up with a policy and a template that they can use that basically covers the essential parts of their operation. What are the most essential things that they have to do? They can classify the things that they do by how essential they are. And then listing out some of the things like people, places, systems, files, and things like that. So it's all in one place. My office would be available to help with some of that planning. And then ultimately we would ask for those plans to be sent back to us so we could have all of the county's plans in one place if we ever needed to use them. So as I referenced the tabletop exercise back in October, we're finalizing an after action report for presentation to the board or some committee thereof for all those details. But for now, since we're starting to initiate this, I just wanted to have that conversation and see if it's something that the committee and ultimately the board would be interested in adopting.
Okay, any questions for Scott? Madam Juicy?
I just have, I think it's a great idea. I just have a question why it would be coming through admin and not to the committee that he reports to.
I was asked to bring it here because it involves
Okay.
buildings.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's, yeah.
Okay.
I think we go directly to you as far as, right, we,
Great. No, I'm fine
Okay,
with it.
here
I just
and
didn't
informed
want
by
it
it?
to be at the wrong place and then have to get bounced.
Yeah, I mean, so I can come back with a resolution next month or whenever to make it official. And between now and then, we'll certainly have a conversation on the content of the policy and if any changes are needed. But I think it's something that's vital, and I don't think anyone will really argue with that. Just a process
Yeah.
we have to go
and I
through.
think maybe a consensus now that this committee feels it appropriate for that sort of to cooperate and get that accomplished. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, myself, just speaking as a board member. So no objections, Scott.
All right,
Well,
thank you.
is there, just one question, now you're talking about a plan, is there a template or something that?
Yes,
be presented
we've
for
come
the-
up with a template, so we can provide that to the departments. And certainly, we're not mandating they have to use that template. It would be simpler if everyone used the same template. But if there's anything in place, the point of it is that they're prepared for what happens if they lose one of those important things. And so it doesn't have to necessarily be our way, but we also wanted to make this simple so we don't just say, hey, you have to do this plan and then step away and say it's not our problem how to do it. We want to provide part of the solution. And like I said, our staff can help if there's questions. We're also engaging some continuity of operations plant training coming up in March, which we'll invite the departments to. I'm waiting for how many spots that I get to give out. So trying to make it as easy as possible and get this done so that we're better prepared.
Sir, may I see you after the meeting?
Do what?
I see you after the meeting. I have something
Yeah.
for you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry, may I see you after the meeting?
Sure.
I have something for you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I'm assuming it falls under building management and IT, so.
Sure.
sounds like a reasonable thing. You have the comments from the committee.
All right, thank you.
Great, thanks, Scott.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment?
Yes, Madam Bates.
This is a compliment. I want to compliment Ms. Files and Mr. Fonstock and your entire committee on that great presentation you did. As a longstanding member of the ARPA committee, I can say that some of us were hoping to, we thought a greater need was to build a new building or maybe give more millions of dollars to our nonprofits or our human, our social services. And when I see what you've done with this, I think it's very exciting and very needed. And to fix up our buildings, we can't serve the public if we don't take care of ourselves first also. So it's a compliment. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bates. Okay, under other new business, this is kind of there was a memo that was presented. Did you get a copy of this, Roger?
I did after the meeting, yes.
Okay, there was, as an item in, some of you were here for that committee meeting. Under their new business was to, discussion regarding Director of Building Management position. Was listed as the Director of Building Management, although it's more appropriately, I believe, the Building Management position. I don't know if has everybody got a chance to look at that? It was passed out. If you were in the committee earlier, I think Cliff explained it somewhat about the potential for the direction of where this committee, which I think would start a review or consider reviewing as we go along the makeup of our department. And certainly we have a director, two directors who have control of the items that and how things are done. We don't want to micromanage them, but this is I think something that we should consider, especially since it's been presented in another committee and left with us. I think this is the appropriate place to address it. If there's going to be a topic, if it's going to come up, this is something that belongs in this committee and start in this committee. And I know you had a comment in that meeting, Madam Juby. Would you like to express your?
Well, I have two comments too. First of all, it's really late and I would like to see this as as its own agenda item at the next meeting. If
Maybe
we can, if we can
refer
do that.
Okay.
But I will make a comment that I believe that this is about a position and not a person. And that we need to look and see if this position has the data to back what we thought it was going to do. So I want to make sure we keep people out of this completely.
Right.
It's not about, there's names on here. It's not about those names that are on here. It's not about any of those things. It's did this position actually achieve what we intended it to achieve? And do we have data to back it? And if it didn't, we need to have that conversation as well. It's not about people.
Right.
At all.
I think you had an excellent point that way. And that's what actually on that agenda item, that's what I wrote in at the end was, although it was listed as discussion regarding Director of Building Management, it really should have been Director of Building Management position as we discussed that, the position. And there's an outline here. I guess we'll put it on. So as to your suggestion, unless there's some other, we'll take this, review this, and then if we can discuss this and present
Sure.
more information at the next
Absolutely.
committee meeting. I think that that would be appropriate to do that. That way you get a chance to sink in with this, because this is just a memo. It's not a directive or anything. And whether it gets to be a resolution or anything, I think as Cliff brought it forth, and his committee had mentioned that we need to decide what we want to do with it, whether it has legs or not.
Mr. Chair Gums, I agree with you. I think we should dig into this a little bit and then come back to it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the consensus is then we'll be addressing this as time goes on and maybe continually. This is the kind of thing that we as a committee would control as the structure of our directors and who does what.
So I just have a question because this happened prior to my coming on here. Can we get documentation that was like the justification for this when we have the conversation for the agenda item? Because I don't have any of the background. It happened in November. I came in December.
Right.
So if I could have like the justification for why we did it, what we thought we were going to accomplish, and why we went in that direction, that would be very helpful to determine whether it's been a successful endeavor or not.
I think that's an excellent point. As you mentioned, there are names in here as well. And a lot of this is almost ancient history compared to, I know Cliff spent some time introducing the new members to the history of what would happen in the public health, not public health. What was the one before this one? Yeah, human services. Human services, it's been a long night. The human services we came in human services, we came out of the dark ages, as I mentioned in the committee. We were beholden to a big corporation on the information that we got. We had no information and not able to make good decisions or with all the information to make the appropriate decisions to how we were addressing all of the things that the human services department handles now that we take for granted, all those beautiful charts and examinations and stuff like that. Well, this is a very similar thing. And this is actually a very sort of a highlights of the history of what the distant past here. We have in this department, building management, we have come, IT in itself has been a dream really the whole time, not really a problem, but building management, we came out of the dark ages. When I first got on here 6 years ago, it's too bad Miss Allen isn't here. She can go back even further. And Roger has a good history of it as well. We were sitting here with paint falling on the chair, on the pews back here and no shades. And I mean, and that's just the very top of what's going on. Our boiler back there and the road that was falling in on the boiler and even all the way around the county. So we've come a long way with our department.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Observation. I see water damage right there.
Just.
Yeah, there is some, yeah, but it was like falling into the pews and stuff. So we've come a long ways getting in and out of the buildings and a number of things. And I'm sure we can recap some, I'd like to have a recap of where we were. And as far as organization as well, it was just a disaster. Actually, I don't know if how many judicial, I know the chief judge, the last chief judge could tell us a lot about what was, we have come just in the judicial center, then we nodding back there. We've come an incredible way to providing a service and making the living conditions and the working conditions for the staff around the county much, much better. And I think that's attributed to our current staff and the staff that did a good work getting us here. And hopefully we can help them be as effective as they have been in the last just a couple of years into the future and improve things and be reasonably be responsible about the spending we do, but make sure it counts so that we are providing the services that our constituents deserve. So then we will refer this.
Mr. Chair Gums.
Yes, Ms. Gums.
Just a quick question. Where are we at in the vacant position? I think
that's a good question. Maybe you could, I think I was going to bring that up. I didn't make note of it here. Those positions, can you identify the positions that are open and where we're at on those?
Sure. So we have the Director of Building Management position, which that position's been open and posted for some time. And we were holding that position open while we awaited certain processes to come to conclusion with HR because there were internal candidates and external candidates. We do have the refined list of candidates that we want to interview, and we're scheduling those for an interview. And then we also have the recently vacated position for a director of maintenance, which that position was responsible for operational services, building management services, and maintenance of the government center campus and certain other buildings. So that position is also posted for internal applicants, and we have applications for that as well. So those are the two vacancies that we're talking about. And they're both actively listed, and we're looking to interview candidates for both of those.
So on a Gantt
Thank
chart
you.
of, oh, does that answer your
Oh.
question? Sorry.
Yeah,
Is there-
just if we can get like maybe a timeline, and Roger, I
Sure.
know that
Right,
was out
like
of
a-
your control. I know there was a lot of things out of your control. There's no criticism here. I would like to see a timeline on that because I know how
Sure.
essential it is.
Yeah, and that's where I was going, like a Gantt chart that has
Yeah,
the months, and actually what led us up and the delays that, because we began doing some of this stuff almost a year ago, that things that, and
So-
some of the older board members were in some of the executive session stuff that we talked about that would understand what delayed the early part of this, but yeah, like a calendar.
Sure, we can, I mean, I think that this is it would be an abbreviated calendar because we're going to
Yeah.
do a short list of interviews with 3 or 4 people. And then we're going to start making job offers, because in this environment and climate, if you have good candidates, you want to get the offer out and try to secure that hire. So I would say that this is something that would come to conclusion by the end of February, maybe earlier. That's
Okay,
the
great.
timeframe.
Thank
So
you.
we're looking at that, yeah.
Yep.
Excuse me. Okay. Any other questions about that particular thing? We're going to refer that. Then I would entertain a motion or request for unanimous consent to put place reports on file. Excuse me. From someone on the committee.
Berman.
Gumsel Berman, Dale's got it.
Berman has requested to put the reports on file. Is there any objection?
Unanimous.
Unanimous consent? Yeah. Put reports on file. Any objection? Hearing none, the reports are on file. There is, we do have a need for executive session. I see Mr. Francis back there. So we will, thank you for attending. You back there in the audience. It was nice to have you here. Thank you for your good work. Going to closed session.
Chair, would you
move
like
that
we
a
need to go into
motion?
closed
Would you like a
session to
motion to go
review-
to closed session to review the release of closed session minutes?
Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second, Mr. Berman?
Yeah, we talked last.
Roll call, please.
I don't.
We can be an all in favor.
No,
We
not to do
can't be
this.
an all in favor?
No.
Oh, you're right.
Going
We're
out.
going to closed session, right?
So
Sorry.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Berman,
Yes.
Garcia. Oh, she's
Just skip over. her.
Gums, yes.
We'll have a core, or we'll have a majority. Just go ahead and call.
okay. Sorry. Gums,
Gums, yes.
Arroyo, GB.
FBI.
Yes.
Yes. We have a
Always this hot in here?
No, there's a window right behind you. If you,
Okay. Taking layers off.
it's hot in here in the winter and it's cold in here in the summer.
open the windows.
I think it might be Kathy's because she spoke and then left. No
Okay.
one else is missing their phone.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm
Leave it
sorry.
with, Mr., you're good. Leave it with Mr. Cash.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm sweating bullets right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're back in open session. Roll call, please.
Berman,
So,
Garcia here. Gums,
Gums here.
Arroyo,
Arroyo here.
Should be here.
Caius.
Caius present. So I would entertain a motion and a second to
Adopt Exhibit A.
approve the resolution to release the closed session minutes as in presented in
Miss-
Exhibit A.
Mr. Chair Gums. I'll make that motion.
Arroyo second.
Like I said, it's been a long night. Okay, Gums moves. Second, Berman seconds.
Arroyo seconded.
No, I'm sorry, I chair. He doesn't get it. Gums and Berman. May I have a motion? So roll call, please. All in favor? Can we do that? Roll call. That's what I thought. Give me some slack.
Chair Berman,
Herman, yes.
Garcia, yes. Gums,
Gums, yes.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Aye.
Caius.
Bias, yes. We have motion second to adjourn. Moved by
Herman.
Berman, second by
Arroyo.
Arroyo. I'll give it to you that time. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Objections.
See you next month.